I'm Kerry Fink with Helping Seniors of Brevard. Welcome. Good morning. Thank you for being here at the Senior Resource Center of Brevard. This is the community information series that we actually established a number of years ago. We meet here at Zon Beachside. They give us the lovely Nautilus Ballroom is what they call this room, and we get to meet on the last Monday of each month. And so as part of the Senior Resource Center of Brevard, we have covered a lot of topics because people need to know, Helping Seniors of Brevard, we're a 501c3. That's a fancy word for a nonprofit. And what that basically means is that we don't have any other motive than to serve seniors who are here in Brevard County. We are 100% local. Joe Steckler, our president and founder, he's a retired Navy captain. He's the guy that built up the Brevard Alzheimer's Foundation, so they call them to this day Joe's Clubs, the daycare centers, so caregivers can get some respite and some help. And then he had retired from that. Joe can't stay retired, so back in 2011, he said he discovered that seniors have more issues than simply those that have memory challenges, and he wanted to create an organization that would do something to address that. So in 2011, he created Helping Seniors of Brevard. And so for all that time, we've operated the County Senior Information Helpline. That's that free call that Nancy Deerdorf, who has 33 years registered nurse experience, she goes way back with Joe, even before there was a Helping Seniors organization. And what it is, it's a free call for seniors and the families that care for seniors, and even the neighbors who get concerned about seniors will call us and say, hey, we need help with this. And she's taking someplace between 360 and 410 calls per month. It depends on the month. And we get calls on everything from housing to transportation to medical to legal. And so one of the outreaches of trying to answer those questions, and I'm amazed, I always call ourselves a little engine that could, because we have a tremendous ability to know the right place to go to try to make some sort of a difference. And so Helping Seniors has also gotten into a lot of, we call it media outreach, but we publish in the center section of Senior Scene magazine every month. We do television like we're doing right now. We do a radio show every week, 12 noon on 90.3 FM, WEJF, and it's all about trying to get information in the hands of seniors. So this whole seminar series comes out of that. And we've tackled some pretty serious topics. We've had elder law attorneys come in and talk about things that you want to be aware of in your own situation so that you can get ahead of an aging curve. Don't be caught flat-footed when something happens. Now you've got at least the right paperwork, and so the things that you want to see happen are going to happen. The same, we did one on finances where we had a financial planner come in and really explain several things that you want to be thinking through. It's not just how much money you have, but it's how you're going to strategize so that you make it last. And then we thought, here we are, let's do something a little bit light and a little bit fun, and something that increasingly we find that a lot of seniors don't realize is still open to them, and that's travel. And we're going to talk about senior travel, making it safe and fun. And let me, as a preface to this, I'm going to introduce a great friend of ours, Chris Morse, here in just a moment. But as a preface to this, let me explain something. When we did a survey, and it's out there right now, if you go to helpingseniorsofbrevard.org, there's a survey because we want to know what seniors in Brevard County are concerned about. What are the biggest things? Because part of us is advocating with governments, businesses, organizations saying, hey, we love kids. We raised an extra half-cent sales tax because we love our kids and we want them to have great schools, but we have more seniors over 65 than kids under 18. What are we doing that can help them? And so we advocate on that level. And the point that I wanted to make was, when we did this survey, we found the things that you would expect. People are worried about transportation, housing, legal, medical, all those kind of things. But one of the things that did surprise me was they were looking for social interaction. So isolation, and you think about it, we all just came through COVID, and one of the biggest challenges was, I said, 30 days to stop the spread, right? And here we are several years later. And the socialization aspect is so important. And that's one of the things that happens with travel. We were talking before we started the seminar, you know, that you go on a travel, you go on a cruise, you meet nice people, you become really lifelong friends, but they go back to Portland, Oregon, or wherever they live, and now you're corresponding by either email or Facebook likes, and sending each other pictures of your family. One of the ideas that we had was, well, what if people from Brevard County would travel together? That way, when you make new friends, you can go out to lunch the next week and things like that. So we had the good privilege of meeting Chris Morse, who is he's actually serves on our volunteer board of directors in the organization, but he came to us a couple of years ago. He said, Kerry, he said, I've been doing travel, your words, Chris, not mine, since dinosaurs roamed the earth. And he and his partner, Betty, are experts in what they call senior travel. They're actually special needs certified for travel, which means people who have to travel with oxygen, different things. He knows how to make those things happen safely and effectively, and that's where his specialty has been all those years with his travel company. He said, Kerry, I'd like to help you guys put this together in a way that actually will benefit your organization. Not only does it solve some of the socialization things, because travel is fun and it's a nice way to get out and meet people, but also we can make it possible for people to travel who thought maybe their traveling days were done. And more importantly, at least from our perspective of helping seniors, he goes, this can be a way that you can continue to fund the organization. And we have a big dream of creating a foundation, the Helping Seniors Foundation, that helps people with actual, right now we're a service. All we can do is connect people, but we have a dream that one day we could be big enough that we could actually step in and make some differences. So kind of with that, I'm going to turn the first part of the program over to Chris, and then we're going to kind of break it into two parts. He's going to talk a little bit about travel, how travel works. I had thought we just all went online now and just booked stuff. You know, we see a deal, we click the box, we pay, put in our credit card number, and I thought that's how we travel now. I thought travel agents were done. And he said, no, no, no. He said, let me tell you about that. So the first part, he's going to talk a little bit about senior travel and how the travel business works. And then after that, I'm going to ask him, we're going to come into some specific things that are upcoming specific to the Helping Seniors Travel Club. So again, with our series, this is all about helping you get your ducks in a row. We're just trying to help you plan ahead. This one, we want to make a fun one, safe and sound travel. We all love to be out and travel. So with that, here's Chris. Oh, real quick. So this, by the way, was our last October. We were all out at sea. This was our Helping Seniors inaugural travel club. We had literally 55 or so people on the ship with us, and we had a great sailing around the Caribbean. All these people became lifelong friends. My favorite story from this cruise was that we had come back, and I guess maybe a couple of weeks after this, I'd gone to another event with a local charity where they were at a bowling alley. And all of a sudden I hear, hey, Kerry, hey, Kerry. And it was two of our friends that we'd met on the cruise ship, and they happened to be at the bowling alley, and that's the point of this whole thing. So with that, Chris Morse, Helping Seniors Travel Club.
Thank you, Kerry. Thanks for the nice introduction. Also, I want to thank everybody for coming out on Memorial Day, especially Hal working in the back on the cameras. Thank you, Hal. Much appreciated. My name is Chris Morse. With my wife, Betty, who is my life partner and partner in the business, I want to welcome you all to our travel program for today. I started back in 1982 after I'm a Vietnam vet. So in 1982, I saw a need for some of the vets that had some serious problems and were wounded and so forth to be able to get out and travel. So I went around to some of the senior travel organizations back in Los Angeles. That's where I first started from. And I met a lot of the vets who were going to the senior centers for help and support. And I started putting together some travel programs for vets so they could get out. Some were either paralyzed or had limbs missing or had Agent Orange problems. But we got them on cruises going out of Los Angeles and out of Seattle for the Alaska cruise. And I became fairly popular in Los Angeles for doing that. And that sort of let us grow into, we have three divisions. We have a senior division. We have a corporate division where we work with corporations doing their incentive travel and their conferences and their sales meetings. And then we have a regular travel agency called the Travel Center, which does all kinds of travel all over the world. But we kind of specialize in seniors. And when we moved out to Florida, my wife lost her son, and we moved out here to adopt our granddaughter. So our granddaughter could stay here in Florida, and thank God she's now in FSU up in Tallahassee. She's a pre-med student. She's doing really well, and I'm so blessed to be able to give her that opportunity to do that. But we moved to Florida. We moved to Merritt Island, Florida, and then we started working on the senior programs here in Florida. We were able to meet up with Kerry and Helping Seniors of Brevard, Joe Steckler, and we really wanted to make a commitment to the seniors here in Brevard County because I think, Kerry, we have more seniors in our county than any other county, I think, in Florida. Is that correct? So there's a lot of seniors here in Brevard County. We really wanted to make a difference. So we are special needs certified, which means that we went to special classes to become special needs certified so we can help those that are missing limbs. We can help those that have breathing problems. We can help those that are in wheelchairs or confined. As a matter of fact, Kerry, we had, I think, 3 couples come on our last cruise that were wheelchair bound. We were able to get them to wheelchairs, get them on board, get them to handicap cabins that they needed. So we were just there for them. And whenever they needed to reach out, they don't reach out to the cruise line or to the cruise that we're on. They reach out to me, and then I go take care of everything within a half hour of when they have their request. So I know seniors can go online and book travel online, but in 2018, the cruise line, all the travel vendors experienced quite a phenomenon. They gave the internet discount pricing, so you would go on the internet and book and relieve their customer service problems on the telephone. Trouble was, when you booked on the internet, there's nobody to call when you ran into a problem. And I know most of you have been on a cruise. When you go on a cruise and you see that long line in front of the concierge desk, those are internet customers because something went wrong with the booking on the internet. So we match or beat any internet rate. We work with the vendors that love seniors. We get the vendors to donate back part of their profit to Helping Seniors of Brevard. We also give some of our profit back to Helping Seniors of Brevard. We guarantee the lowest price that you can get. We are your panic button. If anything goes wrong between the time we book and the time you actually come home, including your trip, you call us. Don't call the cruise line. Don't call us, and within a half a day, wherever you are, that problem is taken care of. So we're really pleased to be able to offer that to all of our seniors, actually to all of our customers. We book trips worldwide. So we love cruising. I've been on over 135 cruises. I'm a platinum or gold or whatever member of all the cruise lines. I know all the presidents of all the cruise lines. They respect me, so when I give them a call, I don't call them, but I call their secretary. When I call them, they heed my word and they take care of the problem because I don't call them all the time, so they know when I call it's important. So you're in really good hands if you can help and support Helping Seniors of Brevard through the Helping Seniors of Brevard Cruise Club or Travel Club, which helps the foundation, and we're going to grow and grow and grow and be able to take care of a lot of the seniors that can't do what we can do, that are either homebound or housebound or need our help and support. So moving forward, we put together some great programs. And Kerry, do you want to share any information on how the travel club started and what are some of our goals?
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, I guess the point that I would like to bring up is that same as we started to talk about, right? When you live in a community, some people really are adventurous travelers. Chris, you just came back from the Mediterranean, not just a couple of weeks ago. And so some people say, well, I want to take trips. I want to go out west. I want to go international. Chris, that's an area you guys have a lot of expertise with. The point is, and I remember you telling this story, and maybe it's worth relating. You were talking with a family, and they were like, we absolutely can't travel anymore because of this situation. I can't remember the specifics, but I remember you shared with us how you not only were able to make it safe for that person, I don't remember if it was a cruise, but I'll ask you to tell the story, but they were not only able to travel, but they discovered that they could travel, and it kind of gave them a whole new perspective on life because they realized that they could do more than I guess they thought they could do. And so that was one of the points, is like we want to combat this thing about isolation for seniors has really been tough. When it pops up into our top 10 of senior needs, I think it was like number 6 or 7. And remember, this is self-reporting. It's not like, oh, here's a list. You tell us which ones you think are, you know, the important topics. It's actually people who are actually checking and saying, hey, this is a need for me. And so one of the reasons we try to do these resource center events and things like that, you'll see us out at a lot of different events whenever there's a senior expo. We're out there because we want to meet and greet seniors and hear what's on their minds. But they are talking about, like, we need to get together. And so one of the things is Chris and I, he goes, I can help people even if they're trying to travel and they want to be independent, or maybe they want to do a family reunion, or they want to go with some family members. I can help them and I can get them whatever deal they're seeing on the internet, but now they have backup from me. And then the other side of it, though, was I said, but there's a lot of people who maybe don't want to travel alone, okay? Maybe they're not as comfortable going out and being quite as adventurous. They want to go in a group because there's, you know, I don't know, safety in numbers, but there's also like comfort. You see the same people when you sit down to dinner, you wave at them as you walk around the ship. You know, on that cruise that we showed the picture of here, I think the oldest lady was 92. And there were several people who you had to make like special arrangements because they had certain needs on board. I'm trying to remember, but it made the trip so much fun, and all these people became like great friends. And after a while, Chris will talk about the next one. But so many people said, when is the next one? Because it just becomes, it's almost like a family. But tell that story that you related about where you'd help this family figure out that they actually could travel again.
It's a fun story. First of all, we had 4 senior ladies on our last cruise in September on the MSC Divina. And boy, they want to go back again as singles to meet all the friends. And 3 of those single ladies are now visiting and talking with some of the people that they met on the cruise. So it's so nice to do that. The story goes, I was talking to a family who said they couldn't travel because they had major breathing problems, and they always had to wear a breathing machine of some sort, and that they couldn't travel, and the son called the airline, and there was a whole bunch of stuff going on, and they couldn't figure it out, so they said, we're never going to travel again. Well, we were producing a cruise, a little 3-day cruise, which we're going to present to you a little bit later on, and I contacted them, and they said, oh, we can't travel, and I said, well, why can't you travel? They said, well, we have a breathing machine, and we just can't travel. So I said, if I can make this trip a special trip for you, would you let me book that trip for you? Just give me an opportunity. Trust me, because I've been doing this for years. Trust me how to do this. They said, go ahead. I bet, go ahead. But they said, go ahead, not because they thought I could do it. They challenged me to go ahead. Well, did you know that the airlines have specific requirements for breathing machines? They're afraid that the batteries might run out while you're on board the aircraft. So they're saying, well, we need to have at least 20 extra batteries to come along with your equipment just in case something happens. So we had that problem. The cruise lines also had a little bit of a difficulty with that. The transportation from the bus to the cruise line. So there's a number of different hoops, but because I've done this before, I was able to get that couple on that ship, and they had the greatest time ever. We were able to move them down to more of a portable breathing machine that they didn't think they could have. And we rented it. I use special needs organization down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida for all of my equipment that I need. They were able to ship it up. I think it was $20 a day for the breathing machine, the little portable one that they could use. So they were so happy. They probably booked 5 or 6 extra cruises with me. And they like the short-termers, but now they're booking 7-dayers because they feel really comfortable that they could do that. So it's a wonderful story. Also with the Vietnam vets, again, I'm a Vietnam vet. I saw some of the needs for the veterans to be able to travel with their families. And some of the vets had significant others and grandkids. So we put together a veterans grandkid cruise. Oh, it was fabulous. They didn't want to bring their kids, they wanted to bring their grandkids because their grandkids never knew much about the war. The grandkids never knew what the grandfather went through during the Vietnam War, so they were able to take their kids on board the ship or the land package and have a wonderful time. So our faith journey besides travel is also working with those folks that think they can't travel or think they might have a hard time traveling, or there's so many roadblocks for people to travel that they just kind of give up. I'm your roadblock undoer, if that's a good word to say that. I just made that up. So we'd love to have your business. We'd love to earn your business. And again, everything that we do, we work through vendors that support helping seniors of Brevard, and we also donate back part of our profits back to helping seniors of Brevard, because like Kerry said, we're getting 400 phone calls a month from seniors that need support. And we're a nonprofit organization, so we need to make money in various ways, and one of the ways we want to make money is in our travel club. So, Kerry, is there anything else you want to talk about the foundation, or what's coming up next, or how we should proceed?
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, I think you did a good job of explaining that's the why for why we thought this would be a good idea for helping seniors. And like I said, who would have the foresight to start a travel club and then they shut down everything because of COVID? But that gave us 2 years to kind of refine it. And like I said, no kidding, this cruise that we were on, I think we had to change the date 4 or 5 times, because it was first going to be an April cruise, because it was going to be 30 days, stop the spread. Then it was going to be that fall. Then it was going to be in the spring, and we finally went sailing October of last year. And so one of the nice things is now that they figured out how to keep us safe in COVID, okay? So it's not the challenge, and it was very serious, of course, first on, because they didn't have a vaccine, they didn't know much about it. Now it's really that you can be safe as long as you do all the right precautions and things like that. One of the blessings, by the way, when you work with a travel agent as opposed to booking stuff on your own, is all these things that you have to happen. Like we were just talking before you guys got here, is like, well, now he said some of the cruise lines and things are saying you have to have the booster shot. And he says, personally, I prefer to not have to book those, because I want to tell you that this cruise was you were able to go on this cruise if you were non-vaccinated. That's how it was presented to us. That's how we presented it. Literally at the 11th hour, I think it was September, just before the cruise was set to sail, the Bahamas government changed the rules and said everybody has to be 100% vaccinated. Now, MSC was only going to quote their private island. They own the island, okay? So that it wasn't like it was going into Nassau or other places. And they, of course, had to adhere to all the CDC standards, but it didn't matter. It was Bahamian government, so they said 100% vaccination. So we literally lost, 10, 12 people off the cruise, because for whatever reason, their doctors had said, don't take the vaccine or whatever, So we lost several people that couldn't join us this time. But the point was, all of that headache fell on these guys, because they had to call and figure out, this is what you need to board the ship, and we'll help you. And he even helped us at that time. It's a little easier now, but even at that time, we all had to kind of scramble to get those COVID tests, because they needed to have that. Even with the vaccine, they needed to know that you weren't going to bring it on the ship. So my point is, there's so much value to what Chris does. In the second part of this, where I really want to do, one thing I'm going to ask you to, before you switch gears, share the phone number so that people say, I want to get in touch with you. Maybe I'm thinking about a family trip, doesn't have anything to do necessarily with helping seniors. I want to call you about that. Or maybe they say, hey, I want to find out about the groups that you are taking for helping seniors, and go with that. And then we're going to shift into the second part of our presentation. We're actually going to be talking about some travel opportthat are coming up. You can always find out about those at helpingseniorstravelclub.org, helpingseniorstravelclub.com. I'm sorry, I said it wrong, helpingseniorstravelclub.com. Chris?
Yeah, I'd like to share another story with you. I just came back from a group cruise from Rome to Rome through the Greek islands. And I am also handicapped. I have 2 knees and a back that don't function very well. So I booked what they call the least physical excursions from the excursion list that the cruise lines give you. And I read very carefully everything that they were doing. I could not do half of those tours because they were walking 1.5 miles, 2 miles. We were in Ephesus, and we were walking down this street. Can you believe we were walking down the street where Anthony and Cleopatra rode their chariot, a gazillion years ago? But that street's about 1.5 miles, 2 miles long. And if you have a knee problem or a back problem, sometimes you just can't make it, and you have to sit down for a while. And, of course, the group continues to go on, and then you lose sight of the group. Then you got to catch up. So what I try to do for my seniors is I go through all of that with them just to make sure that they can keep up with the tour guide, because the tour guide's got the little flag, right? And they're just tooting along. They're just having a ball. And sometimes we get lost, and I got lost once. So it's just a fun story to tell you about that. Also, when you book on the internet, they don't tell you about passports. They don't tell you about visas. They don't tell you about COVID. They don't tell you about shots. They don't tell you about rules and requirements that you need to either get on a land package or a cruise package. And to give an example, when we had to have a 24-hour COVID test before we got on the airplane to go to Rome. That's all they said we had to do. But I went to the Rome system. The folks that handle Rome out of New York, and I forgot the word. I'm having a senior moment. And I called them up, and they said, "Oh, Chris, you don't know this, and we don't let people know too much about, but you also need to take a test when you get into Rome. We don't care what your test said in the U.S. You have to take another test." So I told all of our clients that they were prepared. 90% of the people that went on that cruise did not know they had to take a second test in Rome, and it backed up the cruise. The cruise went out 4 hours late. The people were upset. So please, if you have a travel agent, book through your travel agent. If you don't have a travel agent, please give me an opportunity to earn your business. I would love to earn your business. My phone number is 818. It's an old Los Angeles number, 818-430-1480. And Betty and I will answer that phone. We'll answer it up to 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, almost 24/7. And our email address is travelcenterusa@gmail.com. And that's also our website, so you can look us up anytime. And, of course, Helping Seniors Brevard Travelclub.org, where we're going to have all of our special cruises. And as COVID becomes, hopefully, history, maybe. It's not the monkey virus, right? But as COVID diminishes, hopefully we'll have more and more cruises out of Port Canaveral and some of the tours. We're going to be mentioning some of our great cruises we have coming up in the second part of our program. So, and also, if you all want to stay later, I'll do the secrets of travel, and you can ask me secrets of anything that you want to ask about, and I'll be straight up with you and tell you all about how the airlines work or how the cruise lines work or any secrets that you all want to know. Kerry, anything you want to talk about? Okay. Good. Well, we have some special programs. And Kerry, do you want to do some introductions on the programs for us? And then we'll get into some pricing and talk about it?
Sure. So this is actually, you saw the picture from our first annual sailing. We all had a great time. We're all ready to go back. And I hope you'll consider this too. This is so much fun. We had the opportunity, and I think, Chris, you've worked out something very similar. One of the things is we had the opportunity to work with MSC Italian Cruises and use this beautiful ship. It's a perfect size ship. It's big enough. It's like 4,000 plus passengers, that it's got everything on board that you would need, and it's also small enough that you don't feel like you need to use a freeway to get from one side of the ship to the other. The other thing that is fun about this particular sailing is it has aspects of going to Europe without actually having to take the long airplane flight there. And so because of its Italian heritage, it's a great cruise line. We've worked together with MSC Cruises going back to the late 90s when they were primarily just a cruise line for Europeans. And literally folks from Europe would fly over to America to board the ship here because they wanted to travel in sort of how they were used to it. Well, since then, MSC has become like the second largest, third largest cruise line. So now they're quite ingrained in the U.S. They got ships sailing year-round out of Port Canaveral. They got them sailing out of Fort Lauderdale, Miami. I just heard they're going to go year-round out of New York. So they are really aggressively competing. And they try to find a niche that if you've cruised a lot, you know, there's bargain price cruise lines that sometimes you choose and sometimes you don't. Then there's high-end cruise lines. And so they've kind of tried to make all that possible. When we were on the cruise, there was some really, really attractive pricing, I'll talk about that for just a moment. But then on the high end, they have a whole thing. What is it called? The Yacht Club. They have a high end. So if you're like one of those people who likes to sail and money isn't really the object, you just want the best possible experience. You're at a concierge. They give you a butler. You have like your own private dining room. It's like a ship within a ship. So they can accommodate all those different levels. And one of the things that was fun on this is they have a place called Ocean Cay Marine Preserve. And most of you, if you've cruised before, you're familiar with how they have the private islands. And the one about this was they literally were trying to be ecologically friendly, and they took what used to be essentially a garbage dump out in the Caribbean and tried to make it a model for other people to follow because they wanted to reclaim the area. They wanted to show how it could be done. And so everything they do there is very low impact, but very much fun. So it's an absolute great day at Ocean Cay. But the point that I wanted to get into was when we got on the ship. So first of all, as soon as you get on the ship, you know, you're there with friends from Brevard County. And like I said, there was 50 of us in this group on the first sailing. And so literally like almost the first day, or maybe it was the next day, we all got together. Chris and Betty introduced themselves to the group. They talked to the whole group, said, we're here to help you. So somebody said, oh, I've got a problem. I'm seeing this room charge. I don't know what this is all about. So they didn't have to go down and stand in that line. You know how, if you've ever been on a cruise, you see how it is around that help desk, right? So Chris and Betty, they know exactly who to go to. They set us up. You had a cocktail party for us. It was like a whole big thing. And then everybody got together. You know, we all sat at the same seating at dinner, so we're all close. We could switch tables around if you wanted to get to know everybody in the group. Some people said, hey, what are you doing when we get to Cozumel? Let's do something together. There was, you know, it was just a whole fun thing. But I think the most fun thing, at least for me, because I don't know about you, but I'm a cheapskate at heart. I work for a nonprofit, right? So one of the things that was so excellent is that because of the clout that Chris has, he was able to negotiate a price. And so a lot of times people will see a price and they'll see it on the internet. It says you can go sailing for 7 nights and it's going to be, I don't know, I'm just going to make up a number. It's going to be $300. And you go, wow, that's a great deal. So then you click the next screen. It says now you got to add your your port charges and taxes. Now all of a sudden the $300 cruise is a $600 cruise. And then they don't tell you, but listen, when you get on the ship, we're going to add $14 a day for each person because that's the gratuities that need to get paid. So that's going to hit your credit card when you get on the ship. And then, oh, you wanted to send Facebook posts and things back, you got to buy a Wi-Fi package. And so that's another $10, $15 a day. So you get all the, and of course, in this day and age, you don't want to travel without travel insurance. So that's an extra. So by the time you finish looking at that $300 7-night cruise, it's not. It's probably $1,200, $1,500 a person, and it's a $3,000 price tag for 2 people to go for a week. Now, granted, it's a great cruise, and I still think it's a great value. But what Chris was able to do, because he has that clout with the cruise line, he was able to negotiate a price that was literally a fraction of that. And because of that, traveling in the group, you had all the protections with the group. You had the comfort of having a travel agency. It wasn't like you get to the pier and then you don't know what to do. You can always yell for Chris or Betty and say, help, what do I do now? You have all that backup. You're traveling with friends locally. We talked about it before. One of the things that we as an organization, as a nonprofit, really want to do was make it possible. You know, this isn't complicated. You don't have to book a flight to get to Port Canaveral. In fact, you may not even have to park a car. You just get, hey, can you drop me off Saturday and pick me up next Saturday? And there's ways to do it. So you literally park the car or whatever you do. You're on the ship. You're relaxing for the whole week. you're making new friends. It was a great deal, and it's great fun. So, of course, we're going to do it again. And this time, we're actually going to try to create 3 options. So the ship goes out for a weekend cruise, and then it leaves for a 7-night cruise. So what can happen is somebody says, well, listen, I've only got a weekend because I got to be back at work on Monday. So you can take that cruise. Some people may say, well, you come with us, you come for the weekend, but we're going to stay on board. And that will get you to Mexico. It's a couple of great days at sea. This is fun. So usually when you go in a port, I always tell people I love cruising because you get in a 5-star hotel, and every day your hotel wakes up in a new location. I mean, how cool is that? So there's always something different to explore. But most of the time in the evening, we're at sea. But in this particular 7-night cruise, you get to overnight in Ocean Cay. And they do a great, like, sitting out on the beach at night. They have a barbecue out there. They have all kinds of stuff. It's really a fantastic experience. So the way this is structured, you can come with us for 7 days, I would say still very economically, and you can actually put the 2 together and come for all 10 days because it's a great experience. And really, I think the pricing you've worked out is the same kind of thing. It's like once you pay that, what you did for us last year, you got all those things. So once you paid that, you didn't have to pay anything else on the ship unless you chose to. Your gratuities were prepaid, your insurance was prepaid, your port charges, everything was prepaid, your Wi-Fi was prepaid, everything was done. All you had to do, the only thing that wasn't included, I think, was, your bar tab, and that's, of course, up to you. And if you wanted to do a shore excursion, that, of course, is also up to you.
Yes, we were able to get back with MSC. They said, gee, when are you going to do your next Helping Seniors of Brevard cruise? And they said, okay. So they gave us some really good pricing. And this year, we're breaking out the pricing kind of 3 ways. Some of the seniors, we understand, have fixed incomes. So we're giving them the bottom line price, which includes the cruise, the taxes, and the port charges, okay? $260 approximately per person. Includes everything except for your drinks, your tips, and your excursions. Then we have a program that includes everything except for the drink package. And that's a little bit more money. That's about twice as much money. And then we have a program that will get you, if you get an inside cabin, you'll be moved up to a balcony cabin with a $100 onboard credit, which hopefully will take care of some of those drinks for you. And that's at a different price. So we're pricing it 3 different ways to match your budget, okay? Same thing on the 7-day cruise. We're doing the same thing where you have the bottom line price, the price with a whole bunch of amenities, and then the price with the upgrade into your balcony cabin with a $100 onboard credit. So, and the best part about all this is MSC is going to be donating back part of their profits back to Helping Seniors of Brevard. So it's a wonderful cruise. I've been on 135 cruises. MSC by far has the most beautiful ships in the world. Their staircases are Swarovski jewels inside the staircases. Their food is excellent. You're going to see some food there that you haven't tried before. And part of the cruising experience, I find, is instead of ordering the steak and the chicken that you can get at home or at Longhorns, you want to order some of the specialty dishes that they have that you may not have tried before. And just try those special dishes to see if you like them. So I don't want to see any, except for lobster. You got to have lobster on board the ship, okay? That's the 7th day out, you got to have lobster. But try the different kinds of foods. MSC has beautiful cruises. They have great entertainment. The cabins are the same size or a little bit larger than your normal cruise. And I think you'll find the MSC Divina a beautiful ship. It's out of Port Canaveral, so we can all get there easily. If you have a big group that you want to take, we'll even get some transportation for you. I know all the transportation companies here in Brevard County. So again, around $250 for the budget, about $315 for your all-inclusive. Or you can take the 7-day cruise and just relax on the 7-day cruise and do the private island, Costa Maya, and Cozumel. So you'll have 3 different ways to travel. I know we're going to get a lot of support on the 3-day because some of the corporations that fund Helping Seniors of Brevard will want to go on that one because they can't take a whole 7 days from work. But then the seniors will be able to take the 7 days. So Kerry, anything else you want to talk about the MSC cruises? And then in talking to some of the seniors, you know, we always ask when people are on board the ship, what were your favorite trips, or what trips do you want to take next? And half the people that filled out the survey said they wanted to take a riverboat cruise on a paddle boat. That all the seniors want to do that because it's such a historic kind of cruise. So we're doing what we call the best Christmas present ever. And we're going to challenge you guys to give your wives or your spouses a great Christmas present on board the American Queen steamboat from Memphis to New Orleans. We're going to have on board this ship, Elvis is going to be on this cruise. And Fats Domino was going to be on this cruise. And Jimmy Clanton, who sang Teenager in Blue Jeans, is that the name of the song? I can't remember, but he sang a whole bunch of 50s and 60s songs. So we're going to have Elvis, Fats Domino, and Jimmy Clanton on board this ship, giving special entertainment just for our group. Not for the cruise line, but for our group, okay? And those prices, I got such a good deal with American Queen. They were so happy. Some vendors really like seniors, and of course the riverboat cruises are especially kind of made for seniors because the young folks don't understand about taking the paddle wheels down the Mississippi. They're not really interested in that. They want to go to Hawaii and Mexico and all that. But so this is a really good senior vendor, and they're going to donate a lot of profit back to Helping Seniors of Brevard. And they gave us, I have the lowest prices on this cruise than you can ever find anywhere, anytime. And it starts off at $2,070, all inclusive. Everything is included. Your drinks, your insurance, your Wi-Fi, your cabin, your taxes, and your gratuities. There's nothing else you have to buy except maybe for a premier excursion, like if you want to go to Graceland, for example, that would be a little bit extra money. Or if you wanted to do the tour on the way to the airport on the last day and go through New Orleans and have a baguette, that would be a little bit extra money. But for $2,070, you're on the American Queen steamboat going from Memphis, the home of the blues and rock and roll, home of Elvis and Perkins, and I know Johnny Cash was around at that time. I mean, this is our kind of music. This is the music we grew up with. And all the way down to New Orleans. So that's a very special cruise. And at every stop, you have complimentary excursions. So you will be seeing the history of all of the places that you've heard about during the Civil War and maybe during the 40s, 50s, and the 60s, all the way from Memphis down to New Orleans. So it's not only is it a great cruise, it's very historic. And I think you're going to love all of the different excursions. They are included also. I was able to include those. But then we figured, well, people really want to go back to when they grew up, like myself. I'm 77 years old, and I grew up in the 50s and the 60s. So we're doing a doo-wop cruise out of Los Angeles on 18th of March of 2023. We're going to have special chartered air from Orlando to Los Angeles. We're going to have the coasters. We're going to have the platters. We're going to have Dick and Dee Dee. We're going to have the Supremes tribute. We're going to have Jimmy Clanton again. We're going to have the Dukes of Doo-Wop. We're going to have the Night Kings. We're going to have the Locomotions. The Ventures, you remember the Ventures? That we're trying to get them on board the ship. So this is going to be a doo-wop, rock and roll, wonderful cruise, 18 March 2023, out of Los Angeles, going to Cabo San Lucas, which is one of the greatest ports in the Western Hemisphere, Mazatlan and Puerto Vallarta. It's going to be great. We're on the brand new Princess Discovery. It's a brand new ship. Everything is all inclusive. Again, everything is paid for. Taxes, cabins, port charges, gratuities, drink package, insurance, everything except for your air and your transfers. Everything else is included. So this is going to be a great cruise for us. And then Kerry and I and the folks at Helping Seniors of Brevard Travel Club, we started producing some more. I'd like to do a doo-wop cruise out of Cape Canaveral. So we're trying to put something maybe together in the summertime where you can bring your grandkids and introduce them to rock and roll, because they're on their cell phones all the time listening to some of this music that we would not prefer them to listen to. So we might be producing some more cruises out of Port Canaveral. Also, we get calls for people that want to do land packages. We send a little group to the Denver, Colorado area where they're going to do all of the shrines on a bus tour all through. They're going to do North Dakota, South Dakota, all of the different monuments. We also have another group going on the train out of Colorado that goes to all of the different places, all the historic places in Colorado. So we would love to work with you. All the profits that we make and all the vendor profits that we make go back to Helping Seniors of Brevard Foundation, which is really important to us. And I guess that will wrap up what we have coming up in the future. Yes. As you know, all companies have secrets. I had a phone call and said, I saw on the internet where if you book travel on Tuesday for airline tickets, it's going to be the best day to book travel. And the internet puts that out all the time because that's the slowest day of the year, or the slowest day of the week that they have. So guess what they want you to do is book travel during that day. So what do they tell you? Oh, it's the best day to book travel. It isn't. How the pricing works on an airline, it starts off with a price per person, or what they call price per seat. And they have to sell that seat at so much money to break even on that plane. The cost of the plane, the fuel of the plane, the staff on the plane, the charges at the airport when they have their gate, that also costs them money. So they add all that up and it comes to a price. That's their break-even price. So then they add a profit to it, and then they put that out 6 or 7 or 8 months out. And as the plane fills up or the plane doesn't fill up, either they reduce their price or they increase their price. That price never stays the same. Okay, everybody says, well, I saw a price at $6.45 and it's $6.40. No, it could be $6.45 on Monday and Friday it's $7.30. So don't get caught up with that, oh, it's going to be the same price and I can wait a week and book. You can't do that because the price may go up. So that's where we come in. I have a special configuration on my computer. It tells me how the plane is doing so far as population is concerned on the plane. So I can tell you, you need to book it now, or we should wait maybe. The prices may come down a little bit. All the airlines now have almost doubled in price. Have you noticed the recent air? I went on Southwest Airlines, the Orlando to Memphis, Memphis to New Orleans, back to Orlando. It used to be $315, it's now $500. Okay, all the airlines have to make money back from the times they weren't flying and the cost of the fuel. Okay, so don't think airline prices are going to go down. And if you see, you're going to get caught up with this. Airline discounts. Domestic carriers do never, ever discount their prices. Never. It's all marketing. Okay, so if it's Southwest is having a sale, it's all marketing. There is no sale for domestic travel. European travel there is, but not for domestic travel. Also, people say, well, but I'd like to reach out to the audience. Does anybody have a question they want to ask about something they've always wanted to know about, or any kind of secrets they want to know about? I like your thought process, but it would be too expensive. Because you could do a one-way car rental to Memphis, and then drop the car off, and then go down and then take air home. If you drove your car to Memphis, took the cruise down to New Orleans, and then had to fly back to Memphis and then drive your car back to home, it would be cost prohibitive. That's a good idea. We could do that. Bus companies like 15 people or more to make it economical for you. So when we talk, if you can get 15 people together, that would be wonderful. But just figure out, I get some people that say, Chris, I'm looking at the map. In Paris and London, they seem so close together. Maybe it's like a half hour. On a high-speed train through the channel, it's a 2-hour train ride. You go 125 miles an hour, so it's not that close. Or you'll see Rome, Venice, and Rome, Florence, and Venice, and they look really close. Well, it's about 2.5 hours between each of the cities, so they think they can just get on a car and travel there, or get an Uber and go from Rome to Florence. Well, that doesn't happen. So some of those fun questions. We'd love to help and support you. We'd love to be your travel agent. Again, the buck stops here. We're your panic button. Anything should go wrong between the time you book and the time you actually come home. We're a door-to-door service. If you are traveling in Rome, we know you're in Rome. We will have the phone answered when you call from Rome because we know you're there. A lot of travel agencies don't do that. I'm not saying don't book with your travel agent. If you book with a travel agent, make sure they're experienced and their special needs. Please give us an opportunity to earn your business, and we definitely Helping Seniors of Brevard Foundation with all of our donations, and we work especially with vendors that Helping Seniors of Brevard.
Thank you, Chris Morse. All right, and Chris will be here for questions and things as we wrap up. I just wanted to give a thank you, first of all, to you for being here today. I hope you found this helpful, enjoyable, and I hope you'll consider traveling with us. I want to give a very special thank you to Zon Beachside for hosting us here. We will be having our next Helping Seniors event on the last Monday of the month, so I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's June 27th. It's back to a slightly more serious topic next month. We're going to be focusing in on some people prefer to stay at home as we get older, and other people say, I'm open to new ideas and new ways of living. So we're going to be talking about that next month when we come back. So thank you again for joining us today.